Hey guys, welcome to yet another ultimate guide in Deadlock. Now I know it's been a while since I've released a video, so sorry about it, but in this video we're going to cover one of my favorite new heroes that I've been playing crazy, and it has helped me get to Phantom rank, and this is Warden. Now there are two ways of playing Warden, and there will be two different videos. In this one we're going to cover a more common one, which I have seen especially in the higher ranks, and this is more DPS build. However, there is also a spiritual build, but that will be covered in another video. Now, in this video, let me start the count. We will cover skills, items, the strategy behind playing him with this type of build, and the examples of how it works and when it doesn't work. So, talking about skills, you got the alchemical flask, which is one of your bread and butters. If for this build you want to max it out either first or second. Why? Because it removes a stamina, it does quite substantial damage, and it applies 35% fire rate debuff, which is quite good at hunting down enemies. Willpower, which is based off your spiritual shield, gives you 20% movement speed, has a relatively small cooldown when you skill it up to level 2, and then Spirit Shield, which scales with spiritual power. This one I think should be your third or fourth option, and if you were to skill it up to level 1, where you get 20% movement speed bonus, and then you go for the third and the first. So the third one is, my opinion, bread and butter. It basically has a 3-second charge up and escape range of 90 meters. It's an area where after 3 seconds, if the enemy doesn't escape, he will get immobilized and hooked, and he can only shoot, parry, and light or heavy hit. So he is basically standing still, and and this duration lasts for almost 4 seconds, 3.75 if you skill it up to 1. But if you max it out, and this is where I would recommend going for it first and maxing it out, is it deals 20% more bullet damage to the trapped heroes for 6 seconds. So even after they are unbind, you still do extra damage, and this is, in my opinion, is bread and butter of Warden. Just pin down like a policeman and bring some justice on them. So Last Stand is basically an ulti where he charges up for a couple of seconds, and then he starts lifestealing in a cone radius and per second, and lifesteals it, but it's spiritual damage only. When you max it out, it gives you unstoppable feature. Basically, you cannot be silenced. You got status resistance only when you charge it up. And it's build off spiritual damage. So this is where, if you wanna learn it when you first get it at level 5. I think just don't even level it 1, 2, or 3. Don't do it. Just get it for you to lifesteal, because you even early with this ulti you can nosedive into enemy towers and chase them and chase enemies down quite confidently. So these are skills. Let's talk about items. Now this is my build. Now I know there are certain things that are optional, that are not in here, but I just wanted to make it very simple for you guys to kind of follow through. And if you feel like in your game you need more, let's say, spiritual armor, obviously go for it. I think it's a really good item. If you have haze, or there is a lot of bullet damage, maybe return fire is good, maybe metal skin is good. It's up to you, and I think these are really good options based on the circumstances. But if we're talking generically speaking, this is a much more economically condensed item build that I would recommend you guys to follow. So let's start off early. We got 6 minutes. What does Warden lacks? So with this build, he can lane 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. Very easy. his downfalls, his max size is very small, his bullets fly extremely small, and hence your counters are heroes that do damage long range. If you are close range, this is not going to be a problem for you. However, to help you counter some of these issues, high velocity mag to increase the bullet velocity.
I got one of those for the missus.
Basic magazine just for you not to reload continuously, because your mag size management really matters in early for you to last hit and deny and do damage to the enemy hero. Close quarter, because you are most strong close, so you wanna amp that damage. And headshot booster, obviously. So sprint boost and extra stamina for my taste is my always favorite. I always go for it just to have speed so you can rotate, and extra stamina for you to escape or to close the gap with the enemy. This is where we're going to the bread and butter in items. Slowing hacks.
If you like that, I got
This
some other stuff
is
to
the
go off
item
the
that
truck.
helps you secure that binding word. If you see that the enemy does not have extra stamina, if you know that he has 2 or 3 bars and he already used 1 or 2 bars, slowing hacks and binding word will punish them, and they will be 100% hooked, and you can secure that kill. And what is the combo for it is, well, I will explain it later. So bullet lifesteal is for you to help to be self-sustained, and you can actually do jungle level 2 or level 1s easy. Bullet resist shredder, I would actually say you might go it before bullet lifesteal, depending if you're jungling now or not. Your alchemical flask will apply a bullet resistance reduction, 12%, duration 8 seconds. It is more than enough to do a lot of damage, especially with the binding hook. Endurance speed, you just get a little bit extra sprint, I get a little bit extra regen and a bit of health. So now we're going into I would also say it's not here, I should have added actually. Let me add it right here. Suppressor. Save changes. Why is suppressor good? Because whenever you deal spiritual damage, you also apply fire rate slow, but this extends into mystic slow, where you also reduce their movement speed. So, when we're going into mid, there are multiple ways to, there are multiple orders that you can follow through. Mystic slow is good, but you will already have slowing hacks. If you feel that is not enough, there are still different options to go. Point blank is a good way to start off. It gives you 1 extra stamina, bullet resistance quite substantial. When you're close, you do extra damage and you apply movement slow. Again, you must be close range, meaning you will apply movement slow, you'll do extra damage. Point blank is a must. Pristine Emblem is whenever the enemies are full health and you're starting a fight, this will just cover that ground. It gives you spiritual resistance, gives you weapon damage and bullet velocity. You will just do so much with this.
It's brutal out there, huh?
Headhunter, a really good sustainability item, as funny as it sounds. It gives you bullet shield, it gives you extra weapon damage, fire rate, that's all good. Whenever you land headshots, and remember, binding word will make them immobile, headshots are free for all, you will heal yourself 8%, and you will grant you bonus movement speed. And obviously do extra damage. Perfect for Warden.
You wanna buy a mug to go
Titanic magazine, again, because in mid game you will be fighting left to right, you will shoot a couple bullets here, a couple bullets there. If you hook somebody, you need to have a full mag or a very substantial size mag to finish off the job. Titanic magazine does that for you. And it gives you a bit of spiritual resistance, so you're becoming tankier and more dangerous. Superior stamina, again, with superior stamina, and I think it is, point blank, you will have, I think, 7 stamina points. That is a bit overkill, one might say, and I can agree, so this is why this is not necessarily, it's the last one in order, but I would personally say it's worth it because you can come in, finish the job, and if you're getting ganked, you can just have enough dashes to run away, close the distance, get to your friends, or maybe hide somewhere so you can pop your ultimate and stay in the fight a bit longer. Mystic slow and toxic bullets. Toxic bullets against Anti-healers, this is an anti-heal item, really good, deals extra damage, really good. Mystic Slow, just to keep securing that binding word. If you see that the enemies is still somehow managing to escape, Mystic Slow should help you a bit further. Even if you don't get a hook on them, you will still be able to just kind of get those headshots, because they will start running away and they will be walking. I will show you in a minute. Mid-late, I would recommend Lucky Shot, again, bonus damage and slow, movement slow. 30%, quite substantial. If you're finding yourself in a difficult situation and you're dying a bit too much for your taste, Unstoppable can help you resolve that. Crippling Headshot, if you are 100% nailing those binding words, the enemies just doesn't have your number, Crippling Headshot will just melt tanks like that. Inhibitor, also really good, continuously movement slow reduction, and then penalty, outgoing damage reduction. Okay, so this has been done. Alright, so whenever they get hooked, again, they can shoot, they can parry, and they can melee hit. So they might most likely in late game try to shoot back at you, so this will make sure that you will have an advantage over them. Frenzy, I don't have to explain. If you see that you're always finding yourself in a hard situation, this will just make you a force to be feared with. Colossus, another one, really great sustainability, just makes you tanky. Leech is a good substitute for Bullet Lifesteal, but this is not... Bullet Lifesteal and Headhunter Hunter will help you self-sustain. This is not to make you like Infernus, just lifesteal back everything to 100% or like Lady Guys, no. This is there to kind of give you a little bit back. Boundless Spirit is just there because you will have a fourth slot available, so why not get Boundless Spirit? If you're so crazy in the late game, it will give you so many benefits. So with that being said, let's really cover what is the strategy and how does all of these items help you. So I hope I won't mess it up. So you're hooking, you're slowing them. You see on the edge here, this is without any slows whatsoever. Let's get the slowing hex. Now we're slowing him. We already covered a couple meters in distance because we applied slowing hex. And don't remember, they will be dashing, so this will kind of make sure that they don't escape as easy. Another thing, what is the order when you're applying this? You want to slow hex first, flask, and then you want to ward bind them. Because what will happen when you slow hex them and you slow a flask, you remove one stamina, they will panic, they will try to get some safe ground, and that's when you will see that they have used your stamina, they are trying to escape, they use the slopes or whatnot. This is when you bind ward them, and this is where you will have higher chances of securing that bind ward. Now let's get the mid items, all of this. And let's apply when he will start going from that end towards us. So, Banyan Wire. Bam. That is one heck of a distance we just closed on him. I think I made the combo a bit bad, so let me show you. 1, 2, and... bam. Essentially the same. Maybe a couple meters, half a meter difference. This is what you're all about. You're about to have a lot of speed, a lot of movement, and you are there to slow them down and just make sure that they don't escape. So Lucky Shot, let's say Unstoppable, Crippling Headshot, Inhibitor, and that's it. So let's say I came in. Bam. No escape whatsoever. So one more try. Ridiculous. And at this point, it doesn't matter at what it doesn't matter in what order you apply. They will not escape you guys, and the damage that you will be doing will be astronomical. Yeah, I think that is it. I tried to be real quick. So again, his strategy is to be quick, to be crowd control in terms of speed, hooking, pinning them down, getting headshots, kill, onto the next one. You are thriving the most in early mid. Your late game is very strong, but you need to be careful because you cannot do 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. You can do 1-on-1s easy. You're like a duelist, kind of like Wraith, I would say. So this is where I would say you're shining most in mid game, and late game you're good. You can be a really good carry. However, you do not have the capability to fight in against mass amount of enemies, like for instance Haze or Infernus, or who else can do that, or I don't know, Vindicta, where you can keep the distance and do the damage. You need to be in their face, and it means they will be in your face doing a lot of damage to you. So you need to make sure that you can self-sustain and you can do the most amount of damage possible. Yeah. So don't forget, you can do 1-on-1s, you can do 2-on-2s. Your biggest counters in early is long distance heroes. Perfect example, Vindicta Talon, for instance. And yep, so these are the skills, the items, and the strategy, more or less. I hope it makes sense. Now let's jump into a couple of examples of what you and how you do this, essentially. Alright, so let's check some examples. This is one of the games that I think we have won, and me and Ivy were playing against Mirage and Talon. We had a solid 2-0 lead, I think. 3-1 lead on them. This is now minute 12, so we already got the Slowing Hex and the Bullet Shredder, and take a look at how I basically slowed and hooked Talon to basically kill him with the combo wombo. Let's check it. So now we were checking, we know that Talon took some damage a little bit before. This is what I see, jumping on him, slow. And dead. Very simple. Very consistent, and obviously he had no way of escaping, hence why he decided to... This is why he decided to use his ultimate on me, but that was to no use whatsoever. So just kind of help you understand, you want to use your... You want to catch enemies off guard. Because he was so out positioned, there was no way for him of running away. And even if he dodged the binding word, he was slowed, he had bullet resistance reduction, and I had bullet lifesteal, so there was nothing that he could have done to escape, not in such close position. If he was using all of his sprints to run away, I could have chased and closed the gap anyways. So this is kind of the idea that you want to do with your teammates, communicate, say, listen, I'm gonna go on this guy, help me to slow him down, help me to pin him down, just do extra damage so we can just pressure him and basically create a 2-on-1 scenario, kind of. This is just a little quick glimpse of how this works. Now let me show you how this looks in the late game. Alright, so in this game it was rather thin. We were touching late game. I had some of the top farm in the team, and I wanted to follow on to pure damage. Now I was thinking between Unstoppable and Leech, and in the end I decided to go for Leech. The reason is because I realized that they were sucking a lot of life from me, and I just felt like I want to remain more in the fight, and hence I decided to risk it with Leech, because it also gives you a really significant damage increase. I think it gives you 20%, and this is where you can see that when we touched late game, your presence, especially when you can make a fight one-on-one, you just clean out one-on-one fights, because there is nobody in close range that can match you, almost nobody. Now please take a look. So I've decided to back off. We have, I think we have destroyed the shrines. We decided to go back to base. I think I'll use a speed boost, yeah. And this is where we're going to be fighting on the, I think it is purple lane. And we will, one of our mates, I think it is 7, as you can see, he's going to the purple lane. 7 and Yamato will start fighting each other. And this is where I was still contemplating what to get, so I decided to get superior stamina and leech, simply because of that 20% and cooldown reduction. So we decided to sprint out. I'm sprinting to help out 7. I said, hold on. I messed up my jump. It's alright. I decided to hook her, and that's it. 1 is down. Now, 2 is down. Look how they just melted. And 7, I don't want to be rude, but 7, it seemed like he didn't do much damage in there. So it was all on you. Headshot booster, leech. You are full on, full HP ready to fight. And literally the only late game items, there was obviously crippling shot that was just melting them, lucky shot slowing them down, and leech just making sure that you are there with full HP. So we decided to chase. The swap happened, and we got another kill. These headshots are ridiculous damage. Now it's in these type of situations that maybe Unstoppable would have been useful, because if you use Unstoppable, he won't be able to target you. However, it doesn't matter, we're going to kill him later because 7 kept chasing him. So now he fights against Vindicta and 7 and Lash. And so here we are, trying to seal the deal, dead. I got super excited with let's end. And this is pretty much the sealing the deal in this game. He was so slow. Did you see him sliding so slow? Ridiculous. And that's it. This is how you wanna try to make the late game Warden fights. You wanna try to have one-on-one fights, even when you are almost 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Having kind of a duelist interaction one-on-one, you can win it. Because if they let you bind ward them, they are as good as dead, so they will try to run away. And this is how you they kind of tend to separate from the team, because they try to escape. Everybody's all over the place, and this is where you must know where to pick your fights. Now I came in, I saw that Bebop and Yamato was chasing 7. Now I know 7 was beefy as hell, and this is where I thought, okay, I don't think Bebop will bring too much to the table. It's Yamato that is a priority. But then Mirage came in, and this is where I was. I realized, okay, I need to focus in Yamato. Let 7 try to handle Mirage. And as Yamato died, Mirage accidentally shot his face in front of me, and he took a punishment, as you saw. So yeah, this is the idea. DPS is extremely awesome build. I think it is much easier build to use than the spiritual build, but the spiritual build has its own unique pros as well as cons. Now I think this more or less has given you the picture. I tried to make these videos as more condensed as possible. I'll try different formats in the future, guys. I hope you liked it, guys. Drop a like, subscribe, do all that jazz. I see that majority of you guys are not subscribed. If you liked it, I would greatly appreciate it. Would be really awesome to see 100 subscribers. So if you want to see more, please let me know down in the comment section. The spiritual build should be coming out a couple of days after. So with that being said, hope you have a lovely day and happy Warden games. Have a nice one.